Hi, welcome back to this tutorial on API automation with Karate DSL. In the last video, we created different test runners in order to execute our test scenarios written using Karate DSL. In this video, we'll be working on manipulation of log and display them in a pretty format. Since we are dealing with REST API, our request and response will be in JSON format, and so we can display this JSON in a pretty format so that it is readable for the user and for understanding the logs. In the last video, we saw that the log has a lot of entries which are not necessary for us. In order to deprecate unwanted logs and display only the necessary logs, Karate DSL proposes to use logback XML. So let's find out the contents of logback XML and add logback XML to our project. I'm navigating to Karate GitHub page where the documentation is great, and we'll copy the logback XML content and use it in our project. I have navigated to Karate GitHub page. Let's search for logback. So it's clearly given that the logging will be two variables for our needs, so that we can use logback test XML, which is placed directly inside the class path in order to handle the logs. Let's copy the file content and let's create a file in the class path java file logback-test.xml. Let's save it and let's run our test case. If you can see, in the last execution, we saw a lot of lines from Apache HTTP client. But in this, we have, in the latest response, we have only the one specific to the request and response. So this is the request header, and this is the response header, and this is the response body. What else can be done using logback test XML? So currently we are displaying all the request and response logs. Suppose you don't want to log the debug logs, you can increase the log level to info. And if it is increased, you can see that the debug logs are removed from the console log, and it should be the same for the file appender also. Suppose you want to display only error logs, you can set it to error. In this case, you see that the info logs also removed, only the error logs will be displayed. Since we don't have an error log, nothing is displayed pertaining to the error. So let's revert back to debug. Let's see the file appender. It should be somewhere here. It's Karate log, and you can see all the request and response in karate.log. Similarly, you can find a log over here. This is from each thread, This is for all the executions, I hope. So what can be used in local environment and what can be used in Jenkins environment? In local environment, when we work on creating the scripts, it is good practice that we use the log level as debug so that we will understand the request and response in a better way. But in Jenkins, it is not necessary for us to display all the data. Even the logs might contain user related data or credential information like the bearer token or any other access token, etc. So it is a good practice that in for Jenkins or uh, which is deployed in a cloud environment, we can set the log level to error so that only error logs will be displayed in the Jenkins log. Now that we have seen how to manipulate the logs displayed in the console as well as in the file, let's see how we can make the JSON look pretty and readable to the user. In order to make JSON pretty, we can see the Karate GitHub documentation shows that there is a configuration that can be set in order to make the JSON pretty. Let's search for pretty. So if you see here, log pretty request. So this will convert the JSON request into a pretty JSON. Similarly, log pretty response will convert the JSON response into a pretty JSON. Let's add these to our Karate config. Now that we have added these two configurations, let's see the logging of JSON again by running the test case. Now if you see here, our JSON response is looking pretty and it fits inside the screen and we can read through the data clearly. In the next video, we'll be learning how to execute our test cases using Maven command line. And we will also set a environment property using Maven command line as well as from the local test runner.